Welcome everyone to Two Off the Tee on Fantasy Six Pack. No, we are not going with a new theme logo, the all black.
Yeah, bare bones. Bare bones.
Looking like AC/DC. Your boy couldn't figure out. I don't know why it wouldn't let me change channels. I don't think the Fantasy Six Pack Hour wants their logo and stuff being used for talking about golf. I know I wouldn't, but I am Keith Flemming. I am joined by Ryan Mulvey, who's doing his best to make me cranky tonight by keeping me up past my bedtime. I'm an old man, Ryan.
To mine too. I hear you. Even though I got an hour less than you do, but
once you're on that PGA life schedule, man, it never really goes away.
That's true.
It's the worst. True. It's the worst. It teaches you to get up at like 6 in the morning. I hate it. Even when I can sleep in, it's like 7:30.
Oh yeah.
Usually at the most.
Sleeping in doesn't exist. That's for sure.
It's bullshit. Again, we're going to be talking several different things. Obviously, be previewing the Houston Open, which is at Memorial Park. That kind of interesting. What's happened? We'll get into that in just a few, but they've made that more of a major like venue and definitely a Masters tune-up.
Yeah, sure.
And they've seen the field get stronger. So I think this might be a way for non-signature events to kind of fight back. We've been talking about this on your radio show for forever.
Yeah.
But I can't believe I'm saying this. The Valspar was incredible.
PGA Tour needed that.
Yes, they did. What's up, Jamie? It is insane that I was sitting there watching going, man, this is the, JT reclamation project. Here we go. And then within like an hour, it swapped. And no, in fact, it was the Victor Hovland, reclamation show. It's wild. This game is so difficult. Let's start with Hovland because this is just amazing. Went into last week, he's been playing really bad. He's lost, I think, over 10 yards off the tee, which that's significant for a guy like his age and his skill set. Like, that's wild. Some of the things that he has said, this is recently, during the event, you start thinking things you've never thought before, and this game becomes infinitely more challenging, and it's already really challenging. And that one, I felt that one. I'm just going to say that. It's good to have these guys do too.
Lived that, unfortunately, too many times.
This game's a bitch. After his win, he told Daniel Rappaport, his swing thought on 16 was try to stall my body, time up my hands, and hope it goes straight, which is just amazing.
You don't want to be hoping for anything when you're out there playing. That's
somebody fighting, though, right? Like, he is being so brutally honest. I just absolutely love it. He hit that, by the way, to 5 feet, made birdie. And two quotes that I thought were very interesting. Hovland, who won the champ. This is a quote from his press conference after the round. I hit it a lot of disgusting shots, but they happened to go where I looked. Justin Thomas, who, again, kind of blew it.
Yeah.
I felt so good out there, so excited for every shot. Ryan, isn't this just the dumbest fucking game in the world?
It's crazy. Well, and I was going to ask you a question once you get through the quotes and all that. But, I mean, it's just crazy how even for the guys that are the best in the world, that's why I think golf is one of the few sports you can actually relate to playing it as a casual person because you go through the same things they do. It's just ours are usually a little more extreme and theirs aren't quite as bad as us. But yeah, I mean, there's not another sport I think that we can play recreationally where you have the same mental blocks and challenges and ups and downs as the guys that are the best in the world doing it.
My father is known for his sayings or Chuckisms.
Yes,
as we like to him. One of his favorite is when I'm like going, Chuck, you're barely breaking 90 here. No point to be getting upset. Like, me, it's, shooting like around even at this time. And he goes, it's all relative, boy. It's all relative. And he's right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's exactly what you're saying. Like, it feels the exact same for us. These guys are just really good. For Hovland, I'm concerned. He putted so well. He hit some good shots. I need to see his game.
Complete.
Obviously, it's a great sign, right? But we've seen these, like these uber talented guys that kind of have like a last stand. And it's possible he never finds the game that he did before. Obviously, I hope he does. Big fan of
course,
Victor
yeah.
Hovland. I love his attitude. He's always
Yeah.
smiling. Like golf
Yep.
needs more people like that. Whether he's 8 over or 8 under, he is smiling. Seems to be, realizing he is living a pretty good life, to say the least. And but I think the JT side of it's way more interesting. Big questions, right, with some of the decisions he made down the stretch.
Yeah, and I guess my question to you, Keith, was going to be: did JT lose it, or did Victor Hovland win it?
I don't ever want to disrespect anyone by saying, like, you have to win golf tournaments,
No,
period.
you have to
So
get the ball in the
Hovland
hole.
did win it, but would he have won it without JT losing it? No.
Yeah, kind of a symbiotic relationship between those two final rounds, that's for sure, especially down the stretch. One guy makes 3 birdies, the other guy makes 2 bogeys. So, and ifs and buts or candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. But JT certainly made it easier for Victor to get the victory. And, like you said, and, you thought JT, it was his time. He's coming back. He's been grinding so hard for the last several years. And then he's on the cusp, on the precipice, and just all that pressure gets to him. And, we can relate to that. It's you got to close it out, and the tougher. And when you got a guy making a charge like that, it just puts more pressure on you and makes that hole go from 4.5 inches to what looks like 2, and makes it a lot tougher.
All right, I'm going to both defend JT and call him out. Let's do the call out first.
I like it.
You're supposed to be boys with fucking Tiger Woods. Do you think Tiger Woods is hitting driver on 16 and 18, up 3, and then still with a great chance to win that golf tournament on 18? Even if he would, first of all, he never hit it on 16. No. But even if he did, he would not double the mistake by hitting it again on 18.
No, he would have hit that old stinger 2 right where he needed to in the fairway. JT looked a little bit more like Phil than Tiger coming down the stretch last Sunday.
Exactly. I'm jealous of JT. I want to be Tiger's best friend. I'm not. I'm just saying, Tiger, I'd learn a thing or two from you. So maybe JT can phone Tiger next time he's in one of those situations.
There you go.
If he's not, taking weird pictures with his new lady friend.
Yeah,
that's some weird stuff. But hey, man, I just keep watching the old YouTube videos. That's all you can do with Tiger these days.
That's it. Reminisce.
But with JT, I know it's all doom and gloom. And it's rough. Like it is. This is more scar tissue, which again, anybody who plays the game, even at an amateur level, understands that, right? Like it gets harder to get over each disappointment and bad round. It becomes just basically what you expect. You expect bad things to happen on the golf course, and you're screwed. Like that's literally the moment you're screwed on the golf course.
You think about it, and then it comes to fruition.
Absolutely. But I've been saying this for a few weeks. JT is hitting it so good. I'm confident he's going to win this year. Like I really am. Like he's just hitting it so well. And he's got to start. I mean, it was like I saw a stat tonight on the TGL, and I'm like, are you kidding me? JT has led all players on the TGL putting this entire season. And I'm like, are you serious? Like this guy that if he could just make a putt, he'd be winning. He'd probably have 2-3 wins already this year.
Because he's been his ball striking has been way better this year than in previous years. So
it's back to, like kind of peak JT when he was winning all the time. And that was the thing that I got, man. I saw this stat. I do blame a little bit, and I'm not going to call the person out who tweeted this, stat out before JT had won the tournament. But if he would have won the tournament on Sunday, he'd have became only the 6th player since 1960 with 16 plus PGA Tour titles and multiple majors before turning age 32. Pretty good freaking list. Arnie, Jack, Johnny Miller, Tom Watson, Tiger, Rory.
Not a bad list to be part of, that's for sure.
I'm just saying, let's not bury JT just yet. That is elite company. He's still on a very fast schedule, and I actually like what we see from him. I like what I see way more from JT than I do with Hovland, because Hovland was sort of smoke and mirrors this week. JT is he's just now getting back into that position. I think he's going to continue to, and he'll, he won't make mistakes like he did. I like the aggressiveness. Like I get it. You're JT, you're going to hit that drive right down the middle, but it's like, bro, you're up 3 shots.
Yeah. You didn't
hit the ball in the damn fairway.
Yep.
Like, what are you doing? That is like
the
rule number
risk
1.
out of it. Yeah.
Make them be aggressive. Don't, not the other way around. Put pressure on them.
Yeah.
I wanted to speak about Colin Morikawa. We'll bring that up on your radio show tomorrow, because I want to hear what you have to say about that, because I think he's really wrong. But I do want to real quickly, and then we'll get into this week's golf tournament. Actually, no, the other thing we're going to talk about too, we'll talk about Billy Horschel on your show too, because Jamie has something I want to talk about. Happy Gilmore coming out of retirement.
July
Did you see the trailer?
25th, right? Yeah, trailer is it's I really like how they've blended like the actual tour golfers into Happy Gilmore.
Oh,
I
man,
think that's really neat. Really neat. So I just hope it lives up to the hype, because a lot of times that these sequels, when you have such a good first movie, that they never live up to the expectation of the viewers, of the people watching the movie. But I hope with Adam Sandler at the helm in this one, and Shooter McGavin being it's going to be awesome. I hope. I think it will be.
just follow the the Top Gun sequel
Yeah.
strategy where you basically, or for that matter, The Force Awakens with Star Wars, you just basically retell the same
Yeah.
story
Same
that you did in
story.
the original, change up a little bit, and the
Modern.
nostalgia just pumping into people's veins.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I can't wait to see it. Like, it looks like he's going to be playing against like Scheffler and those guys. There's rumors that Tiger's going to be playing like Chubbs' brother or cousin or something, and may end up caddying some for him,
That'd be
or
awesome.
at least being the swing coach. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I am too. I'm encouraged by the trailer, and I told you when I first saw that they were making this, I was real nervous because I love the original,
Yep.
and it kind of felt like a cash grab because it was so much later. But then seeing the trailer, I feel a lot better.
Yeah. Absolutely. Looking forward to, I believe, July 25th is when it's coming out, something like that. Maybe June 25th. One of the summer months.
That's one nice thing about Netflix. Like they always have, in my opinion, visually the best app of all the
Yeah.
streamers. And like their new thing now is they have when stuff is coming out on the homepage to where
Yeah.
I can, and I'm the kind of person, it's like, yeah, it's going to take me about 5 times of reading it to remember what date it is. But if you keep showing it up there, I'll figure this out. So
Yeah, it'll eventually stick.
keep doing you, Netflix. But how about you quit raising the cost of
Yeah.
That'd be nice
Yeah.
too while you're at it.
Absolutely.
Houston Open. This is now the new WGC spot. This is the 3rd year, right?
Yeah, at Memorial Park.
Yeah, well, no, I know this is going to be the 5th time they've had it at Memorial Park. I think it's the 3rd time that they've had it at this time of the year, being, 2 weeks before basically Augusta, because this used to be the WGC.
Yeah.
Like the match play.
Yep. Yeah.
Would you miss match play? How do you feel on that?
Yeah, I love match play so much, and there's so much stroke play throughout the entire year. I mean, which I understand because that's how these guys play. But it's nice to see match play every once in a while. I mean, that's why I love. I mean, I love the Ryder Cup because it's U.S. versus Europe, and there's so much competitiveness. But I also love it because it's match play, and it's just it's the form of golf that was started on how people played golf. It was always match play. Everything was match play. And the fact that we don't have a match play event like we used to, for me, isn't as much fun. And it always coincided with March Madness too, which was cool because you could do a bracket for the WGC as well.
I will say that I like this event being here over the match play at this time on the calendar, because again, this course, you can tell it's a tune-up for Augusta. And I know so was the match play venue, but it's different. When you're playing match play, you can't hone your game. Like, and for most of these guys, it's the last time they're going to tee it up before the biggest tournament of the year. Yep. So, like, to me, this makes sense. I also, again, like that this is a non-signature event. It's the first one since they've gone to that stupid-ass buzzword, Ryan, right, that we hate so much, the signature events. They just, anyway, that we've seen world number 1 and world number 2 at a non-signature event because Rory and Scheffler are both here. So to me, this proves if you're another non-signature event and you're coming up, say, before the U.S. Open or before the PGA, I would try to turn your course into basically like a really good tune-up if you're 2 or 3 weeks before that major. And like, this name. I'm still calling it just the Houston Open, but the Texans,
I mean,
I don't want to, we don't want to cheat the children, right?
Absolutely.
So
but it's still the Shell Houston Open in my mind.
Open.
It's always been the Shell Houston Open. Yeah. It's like they're adding, and I get it. A lot of the proceeds are going to a great thing, which is really cool. But yeah, it just doesn't flow off the tongue like the old Shell Houston Open used to.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they don't need us to, use it on the radio or in
Yeah,
articles
yeah. We'll
for
just
them to make their money. I think they'll be just fine with
absolutely.
corporate sponsors, etc. But you know that we love the kids here on
Mhm.
Two Off the Tee. This again is a really kind of cool course, man. It's
Yeah,
tough. It's I think the toughest now track in Texas. Again, very similar to, kind of an Augusta National PGA Championship
yep,
of recent type venue because it's got fast greens. It is more like the Masters in the PGA US because I just found this out and I will be changing some of my plays that are up on the cheat sheet. 2.5 inch rough the last 4 years. They're going down
yeah.
to 1.5 inch,
Ooh,
one
they're
and a
definitely
half inch.
making it more like Augusta then, because I know the
That
fairways and rough are all overseeded. The only difference is they're not bent grass greens, but yeah, the actual golf course itself is so similar to the way they set up Augusta, especially with the shaved areas around the
Yep.
greens, going to the bunkers, all that stuff. So yeah, I didn't know they were dropping it to an inch, but yeah, that sounds almost exactly like the setup at Augusta.
And again, I still think this is going to be a difficult venue. Now, the big difference is I think that you can take your chances with bombers, which if a guy happened to hit it a long way and I had him on my card or in my DFS plays, that was just a great coincidence. But now I'm going to look at like the Jake Knaps,
Yeah.
the Aldrich,
I mean, a
Poda
par
guys.
70 at almost 7,500 yards is kind of insane. And just these looking at the hole by hole yardages, I mean, you've
Five
got
490 yard or further par fours. Five.
insane. Yep. And if you start on one, you're starting out of the gate at 522. That's kind of insane. And then you got two par
Little
fives over
driver,
600.
5 wood lob wedge for me.
Yeah, a little three-shot par four. I like it. I like it. But yeah, the 600 plus par fives, and there's only there's three par fives on the course. Yeah, one on the back,
And
two
these
on the
are not
front.
easy par fives. Now,
No,
most par fives are on tour. This is one of those rare cases where, ironic, it's the par threes
yeah,
that are relatively easy in comparison to, again, playing 500-yard par fours and, again,
yeah,
650-yard par fives. The again, 5 par threes also this week. So to me, par three scoring was huge. Obviously, again, with the rough being down, I'm going to look more at total driving. Um, really important for guys, strokes gained off the tee, but you still need those guys that can scramble, avoid bogeys. Obviously, you want
mhm,
people that putt well. And then, for me, I do look at track record at a venue like this because if we're talking Augusta, I just need to remind people Augusta is the ultimate. Guys can just play there for freaking ever once they figure out the course. Look at Fred
mhm.
Couples, look at
Yeah,
Tiger, look at Phil. Like, look at these guys. It doesn't matter what state their game's in. They go in there and they just eat. And if we look at recent iterations of this tournament, it's the same deal where we've already got in just 4 years. I was able to get 5 guys that have multiple top 10 finishes at this event in 4 years.
that's
Uh,
crazy.
isn't that wild?
That is
And
in
there's, I
just
think,
4 years. Yeah,
yeah, and I think it's
crazy.
actually more like 9 or 10 if you're counting top 15s because like
Mhm.
Jason Day's in that list. Like there's other guys that get brought into it. So we're already seeing that. You really again have to be able to get it up and down because Ryan was talking about all the runoff, like tight lies. So these are, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those where like I automatically thought of Wyndham Clark the minute I start thinking of a course like this. I got him right at the U.S. Open a couple of years ago at what I think is a very similar venue to this, and it looks like firm conditions. Obviously, the wind can blow. That's something you need to pay attention to.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
ultimately, I'm really looking more at course history. Obviously, I want guys that are very good on strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach, really zoning in on 200 plus yard approaches. 'Cause I think it's about 35% of those here are going to be from that distance. And then for me, the big thing is like bogey avoidance, scrambling, and I want guys that strokes gain around the green, strokes gain putting. But I'm really looking for more players that play par fours, par threes well, don't make a lot of bogeys, and can scramble. If they can do those things, I really like them. That's most of the guys that I'm really confident about this week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the green complexes, if you're missing a little bit, and the fact that, you just said what, 37% of your approaches are going to be from 200 or
200
more.
yards.
It's hard to
Yeah.
kind of fathom having to hit that many, for these guys, 6 irons, 5 irons, but that's a lot of distance. And, with tough approaches and the greens that run off on these tight shaved areas around the greens, you miss a little bit, or if it looks like the wind's blowing pretty consistently throughout the week or throughout the tournament at around 14, 15 miles an hour. So, that's going to dry it up all the way through Sunday. No rain in the forecast except for Wednesday. So may soften it up a little bit, but then obviously it'll get firm and fast as the week goes on, which is always what happens at Augusta too. So, like you said, a nice warm up, kind of getting everybody in the mindset to play a golf course like Augusta National.
All right, you want to do some key stats and trends, and then we'll get into plays and
Yeah,
I'm
I'm looking at these odds, and it's two guys and then everybody else. It seems like
Jesus, dude.
that's a weird betting card looking at this thing.
It is, but I'm so aggravated with just the way golf gambling has gone
Yeah,
since the
yeah,
Live PGA split. It was like the one place that I felt like you were playing, I don't know, like craps, or poker at a casino where it's like I actually have about even odds here. Like I'm
yeah,
not just going to automatically give money away. And they took all the fun away. Like these odds are insane. Like it
yeah,
really is. Like some of these guys that are at 30-1. Come on, man. That technically should mean they should win one out of every fucking 30 events. Cam Young's around that number a lot of weeks. He's never won a tour event. It's like, get out of
yeah.
here.
Yep,
Fucking DK and
absolutely.
FanDuel now. At least you got a casino.
Yeah,
Top 10 in course history. This is what we were talking about a minute ago. Dietrich, that's really off one performance. Toasty, that's off of one performance. Skin off of one performance. Gracerman off of one performance. The rest of these guys, it's not. Aaron Rye, back-to-back seventh place finishes, finished 19th year before. Scheffler, first, second. He likes this venue. Mackenzie Hughes has multiple top 10s. Steven Yager won last year before, top 20. Joel Damon, multiple top 10s, or actually, I think top 9s. So all those guys are on there. I'm looking again, strokes gain approach, a big one. Love Nick Taylor, Joel Damon. They're both on this list of top 10 in the field. Also love Kurt Kitayama, Scott Scheffler, Doug Gim, and Gary Woodland. Those guys are on there. And then the other guys rounding out that list is JJ Spahn, Henrik Norlander, Jackson Suber, and Jonathan Vegas. And then there's a couple of combo stats that I want to thank PGA touts for. He shares this in his article each week. It's amazing stuff. Combination of bogey avoidance and strokes gained total on difficult scoring conditions. There's just 9 players who rank top 25 in both categories in this field. And I like all these guys just about. Scotty Scheffler, Alex Smalley, Kurt Kitayama, Nick Taylor, Harry Hall, not you, Keith Mitchell, not you, Channing Kim. You're cool, Harris English, and not you, Matt Messier. But the rest of those guys, like all of them. And then the final one, again, the ideal player. They got distance off the tee, good tee to green form, strokes gained around the green scrambling, comp course history, strokes gained total difficult scoring conditions, and bogey avoidance. There's 10 guys that are above average. Tell me if you've heard a lot of these names before. Scotty Scheffler, Alex Smalley, Kurt Kitayama, Davis Thompson, Ryan Fox, I really like on DK, Minwoo Lee, who I really like. We'll talk in a minute. Harry Hall, Rory McIlroy, Keith Mitchell, not you, and Wyndham Clark. Sorry, I'm not betting Keith Mitchell again. I've gone down that rabbit hole way too many times, Ryan, and never came out on the right side. What are you kind of looking at this week? And then if you want to start with just somebody that you're feeling frisky about, we can do it that way, or you can add whatever else you want to before we get into that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, looking at guys like you said that have good track record here at the course, because playing courses like this a few times makes such a big difference. But just looking for somebody who's got really good long iron game and is very accurate, with those approaches, because that's going to be really, in my opinion, the key statistic this week. But I'm kind of with you on guys like Minwoo Lee, who are just waiting. And I think he plays golf courses like this really good. A name you didn't mention, and maybe he just doesn't fall into the stat categories, is Tony Finau. I think he's played well at this particular venue and always played well kind of leading up to the Masters. And having him at 30-1 is kind of crazy. But again, the betting card is driving me crazy because you got Scheffler at plus 375 or 350, depending on what you're looking at.
I was gonna say,
You
yeah.
can't bet that because I mean, if he wins, great. But there's just you can't bet it unless you're a big roller and you can put a stack on it, then actually make some money. And then Rory at plus 650, and then it
Oh,
goes
he's
all.
gone down because he was at plus 750
Gotcha. Well,
yesterday.
yeah, six to one and 650 in the two different
Wow.
books I'm looking at
So
here.
see, and that was what I suggested was I would bet him at plus 750 in this field. He's playing so good.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't have Augusta's lure. He actually plays courses like Augusta really well. And he plays Augusta well. He just hasn't been able to really
It
get
just
off to a
doesn't
good start.
start well. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And then it's just wow. There's nobody, in the 1,000 range or even really the 2,000 range. It jumps all the way up to Aaron Rye at 28 or 25 to one, depending on which book you're looking at. So you've got such a. It's basically the bet I would like to place is Scheffler and Rory or the field. Like if that was an option, that's a bet I would probably take. And depending on what I mean, you probably get less than the 375 or 350 for both of those guys. But I'd probably take the field because I feel like this is going to be a tournament that one of these guys that you've been kind of high on the last few weeks in that 35 to 40 to 1, even 50 to 1 range may come out on top on this one. I think we're going to see somebody that maybe we don't expect to win this tournament, like a Pendrith or a Jacob Bridgman kind of guy. And
Don't tell me that shit, Ryan. I'll have to completely start back
no,
over
no,
all my
no,
picks to
no,
win.
no, 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 no. You're good. You're
Kidding.
good. You look at the data way more than I do, so I'm just
Tony
more.
Finau, by the way, you said he's got a pretty good. Yeah, he went first, second in the 2
Yeah,
years that this event has been held at this time of the year at this venue. So yeah, I would say he likes it.
yeah, yeah. So I would probably, if I were to bet one person that's that 3 to 1 or higher, or 30 to 1 or higher, I'd probably go with Tony Finau. Obviously, he's on the lower side of that, but I just something about like you said,
Love him
he's
at plus 550 to top five too, because this is what
yeah
we're
that
talking about. 2 trips, basically
that
runner up win. I'm getting plus 550. He's got to finish in the top five. It's not that loaded, right?
no
Like of a field where if he has his top game, I think he can, maybe not, out muscle Rory and Scheffler, and there might be one or two other guys, but the rest of the field, maybe, all I'm looking at is top five. But I don't, I think he's a great value at 30 to 1 again when Rory and uh, Scheffler are just the crappy odds that they are. So you like Rye, right?
yeah,
28
oh
to
yeah,
1.
absolutely. He's gonna win one this year for sure, if not sooner than later. His game is too good right now for him to not get one over the hump, in my opinion.
He does, I think, need it to play a little bit more like it did before the first year in 2022 and not last year. Because the only concern I have is just his distance, but I'm also all over him. He's one of my favorite DFS plays this week. I got him to win at 28 to 1. I love him to top five at plus 450. This is a guy that's third on tour in par four scoring. I think he's seventh on difficult par fours, and basically 450 yards for our long par fours, 450 yards or
That's great.
further.
Golf course, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he plays par fives well, he's so good tee to green, so good on approach, so good off the tee. He gets a hot putter, like that's pretty much a gimme. Again, Wyndham Clark is somebody I think people are sleeping on. 30 to 1. This is a guy won a major 2 years ago. He has more power than Scheffler, close to the power of like Rory. It's gotten ridiculous how far he hits the ball. I know his short game numbers don't look great, but I've seen Wyndham Clark before be very good, particularly off tight lies. Like he's played well at Augusta, obviously, again, where he won his US Open 2 years ago. Another course, a lot of runoff areas, a lot of, basically firm conditions. So I really like that one. And then Minwoo Lee at plus 3,500 is the other guy kind of in this price range. There's a couple of guys in the long shot range I kind of like, but this is the guy that, like, I think you might look out. Like if he can win one or two times in the next year, because if you just look, he's just so consistent. He's 9th in strokes gained around the green, 15th in strokes gained putting, 22nd in scrambling. And then what I love, top 65 in par 3 scoring, par 4 scoring, and par 5 scoring. Like he's just good across the board. And I think that's why we've seen at majors him almost have more success than he has in regular events, because again, when you have a good all-around game, the harder a course plays, that's just an advantage to you.
Absolutely. I mean, you almost kind of want it to be more difficult when you have that kind of game, and because when the course plays into your hands more, and it's more difficult for the other guys, that gives you a little better chance to separate yourself from the field.
Absolutely. So Nick Taylor is, I think, the best value this week on DK and on the betting boards. He is on DK. I want to make sure I get this right. It's like 7,500. And you can get him right now 80 to 1 to win. Sign me up for that. But I even like it more. He's plus 260 to top 20. I think that's a lock.
Yeah.
This is a guy that I know his track record here is not like out of this world, but he is playing by far the best golf of his career. He proved earlier this year he can win on a difficult golf course with windy conditions when he won at the Sony. And I mean, it is outrageous, his numbers right now. He's top 25 in scrambling, strokes gained tee to green. He's top 10 strokes gained approach, bogey avoidance. And he is going to just go ahead and one up my man Minwoo Lee. He's top 40 in par 3, par 4, and par 5 scoring. Nick Taylor is ninth in strokes gained total this season on the PGA Tour, and you're getting him 80 to 1 and 7,500 on a golf course that fits his game. Sign me up. Like,
Something
sign
seems a little
me up.
funky about that. Like, he's getting 80 to 1 and he's ninth overall in total strokes gained. That's a good combination.
I'm assuming this is just like the same deal with DK, that I've been watching his ownerships because I've been using him over and over again this year. He's very low owned, and I guess less people get bet on. They're not as worried they actually want to induce action, right? Which it does.
Yeah.
I get it, but I'll take
Yeah,
it
you wanna
all
make the
day.
needle move, yeah, no
And like
doubt.
I said, I like him to win. I probably wouldn't get carried away with a top 5, top 10, but I do like the value you're getting at plus 260 for a top 20 for him in this field, again, with what I just told you and the kind of game he's got. Again, you try not to make bogeys here. He's 10th in bogey avoidance. You have to be good around the greens. He's 25th in scrambling. And oh, by the way, you got to be good off the tee and on approach. 21st in strokes gained tee to green, 9th in strokes gained approach. What do you want to know? Like, he's not even putting great yet.
Yep.
Historically, a great putter. So that will come up. And then the other guy just to win that I like is Joel Damon. He's 120 to 1 to win. Joel's going to be a little bit like JT. He'll probably just keep breaking my heart. That's why I'm also going to throw him at plus 350 to top 20 with actually a little bit more juice behind it than I would on him to win. But he got a great track record here, 2 ninth place finishes. And he's somebody, again, he's 32nd or better in strokes gained tee to green, off the tee, approach. So he can ball strike it. And he's 60th in scrambling, which is not bad. Again, Damon's another one of those guys. If he just gets hot with a putter, with the way he can ball strike at a venue like this, we see this at Augusta all the time with these kind of, journeymen. They can get into it. And he's obviously proven he likes this venue a lot.
While you were talking, Keith, on Hard Rock, Nick Taylor's 3 to 1 on top 20. So I just used all my bonus bet on that one to hopefully lock that one in. So Hard Rock giving me some better odds in the top, but not quite as good odds on the winner, but I'd rather bet the top 20 anyway.
Absolutely. I've been trying to sort of explain that without writing a separate article, since I've changed where I do like the betting preview article and then just the cheat sheets. But I do want to, me, I have to give some reasoning for why I'm giving the guys, because I just don't like just saying names. It's like, look, I promise you, I'm not just throwing a name out there without at least some reasoning behind it. But other guys in this field, again, like Bombers brings in Finau. I know Yager has gained a lot of distance. It's not, the fact that he won last year. It's not the fact that he's still somebody that drives a long way off the tee. Do you know how good his short game has been this year?
What's laid on me?
35th or better in strokes gained around the green, strokes gained putting. And he is top 40 in par 3 and par 4 scoring. He is currently like 90th in par 5 scoring.
Man, if he can clean up the par 5s a little bit, he'll be a force to be reckoned with.
I would like him in Augusta as well. You would think that would be a venue that fits him very well. I know he played it last year. I need to look up what he did last year at this event, but he's somebody that I'm definitely looking at. Davis Riley is another guy that is just on fire. I don't know what happened. 4 events ago, he shot a 64 in the opening round, had like a 48th place finish It was his first top 50 in 7 weeks and his first non-miscut in over a month. Since then, I think he's finished like 25th or better. He's had back-to-back top 15 finishes at really difficult venues at the Valspar and the Players. And when again, we've seen these guys get on these heaters, and it's a huge deal for him to win this event. You kind of said that it wouldn't surprise you if it wasn't Rory or Scheffler this week. I kind of agree with you overall, because again, this is a tune-up for them, right? Like, would they like to win? Sure.
Yeah.
They want to make sure their game's in good shape for Augusta. I think those guys got bigger fish to fry, if you will.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, a lot of these guys will use these tournaments not necessarily to try to win and continue on, but just make sure they're playing the way they want to be playing on a comparable golf course to be ready for the Masters.
Yeah, completely agree. Just some other names just to throw out there real quickly. I really like Harry Hall this week. He's another guy that this is the exact kind of course he's played well on. Top 15 in strokes gained around the green and putting, top 50 scrambling, top 50 bogey avoidance. He's another one of these guys. He's 4th in par 4 scoring, 25th in par 5 scoring. This should set up well for him. And then I am bringing in like all those bombers, like Toasty, again, Podegeider, friggin' Knapp. Like, take which one of those guys you like. Or if there's another bomber that you really like, if they have a good approach game and they're decent around the greens, that would be the one thing. Is I would want to know that they can scramble, because again, it's just you either can or can't do that, and that is why some guys cannot succeed at Augusta. We see that over and over again, right? Is they just can't handle the tight lies.
Definitely, and that's this golf course too. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I like that kind of pairing a bomber with at least a decent around the green number, because obviously it can get very tricky, and some of these tight lies can get even tighter as the course dries out and the week goes on.
And by the way, Davis Riley also is plus 320 on DK to top 20.
Ooh.
Again, coming off 2 difficult venues, both of them finishing top 15. He's on a heater. This field is actually weaker than obviously 2 weeks ago at the Players, and just slightly stronger than the Valspar, but it's really just because they have 1 and 2 here.
Yeah,
there was actually more guys in the top 50 world ranking last week. Other guys, just for DK purposes, I really do like Ryan Fox, Charlie Hoffman, Hayden Springer. They're all in that 6,900 range. The other 3 are just darts. I'll just go ahead and admit it. Like Danny Willett, the harder the course plays, the better it is for him. He's somebody that doesn't make a lot of birdies, but doesn't make a lot of bogeys either. Aaron Badley, for a short game, he's 6,100. Ryan Palmer is 6K. Texas guy, right? Like somebody who has got a gazillion good finishes, and he knows how to play there.
Yep.
I'm only recommending Badley and Palmer if you're trying to play like a Scheffler or McIlroy lineup, or a Scheffler, Wyndham Clark. Yeah, and you got to dump cash. Otherwise, I wouldn't mess with it. And then again, like outside of that, if you want to look at like Alex Smalley, Thomas Dietrich, like Sam Ryder, these guys again that have these track records that they're playing difficult courses well. I think it's somebody like a Harris English, like they historically play difficult courses well. They historically play Augusta well. I don't mind taking a shot on them. I still think though that at the end of the day, this is going to play fairly difficult, and we'll see. I think by them lowering the rough, I think they're going to speed up the greens and make it firmer. I really do.
Yeah.
They have not came out and said that, but to me, if you're trying to make it more like Augusta, they could add the greens in, a little bit quicker last year and those runoff areas. And I think if you're going to let the guys bomb away, that's what, Augusta has as its main defense. If you see that, I think scoring is going to be more like 2022 to 2024. But last time I said that was after the Cognizant got blasted, and it got even more blasted the following year. So I don't know what to say.
Well, and it would make sense too. They got, and like we talked about earlier, the difference between this course and Augusta is the greens. This course is Bermuda, the old 328, and they can just speed the heck out of those. I mean, and the warmer it gets, and it looks like it's going to be pretty warm out there for this time of year, that those greens are probably going to get lightning quick, because the name of the game nowadays, like we talk about all the time, is hit it as far as you can. Doesn't matter if it's in the rough, but if the rough's only an inch long, it really doesn't matter if you're in the rough. Obviously, you're going to lose a little spin, but not, if you were playing that 3.5 inch rough that they've been playing at like Bay Hill and those places. So,
yeah,
I
that's
totally
why at
agree.
Augusta we occasionally will have a Zach Johnson, a Patrick Reed, where you're going, wow, that's really shocking. But most years it's DJ, Tiger, Phil, like these guys that just Bubba twice.
Yep.
Bubba Watson has won 2 green jackets.
Twice.
Tell me
Yep.
Link that. Tell me Link doesn't matter.
Oh,
Before we
goodness.
get out of here, we've got to add to the list of
Mhm.
annoying habits. All right, so far we've got the oblivious golfer, which just is, not being ready,
Yeah.
not just not knowing what's going on. It's like,
Yep.
just pay attention. Like, there's a time to, bullshit, have fun, but just be ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a big thing for me. And then I really did like Kelly's suggestion, so I'm going to add that on there, that it's the separation anxiety cart riders, where
Yes.
you have
Yes.
to ride side by side, from ball to ball. You're never going to walk, even to get a number, grab your iron, be like, I'll meet you over there after I hit my shot. None of that. It's
Yep.
2 people riding the cart.
No
So I think that's
proactiveness in that group. Yep.
right. I think that's a pretty good start.
Yeah.
Let's try to get a little bit outside the box here. So for me, the big one, and this is where we have to get into like golfing habits. The person that says, yeah, I'm in, until like the morning of the
Yeah.
round, and then we'll
Bails
tell
out.
you an
Yep.
hour before,
Yeah.
hey man, sorry, something come up. And it's like,
Can't make it.
I normally, you know me, I always give people the benefit of the doubt. Like,
Mhm.
I might rag you a little bit, but it's all in good fun. I really don't care. But it's amazing how it's always the same people in these
Yeah.
situations, right? It's always the same people. And I even tell them, look, dude, it's all good, but I would like to get a 4th. I don't want to have 3 on a Saturday morning
It's gonna take
behind
you
nothing but
forever.
foursome.
Yep.
Yes. And
Yep.
it's like, so we can have
Absolutely.
games and, everything else. And
Like,
so if you just don't think you're gonna be able to make it, just say, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it.
yeah.
But they always go, no, I'll be there. And then it's almost inevitable. You're gonna get that, early morning text saying, or even worse, like while you're sleeping and you wake up to it. And it's like, what a dick.
Yeah, well, and it's I'd rather you say, "Oh, I can't," and then last minute say you can, than the opposite. Because obviously, you can't fill somebody with that short a notice, and it also kind of plays into the same person. It's always, if you have a consistent foursome or group you play with, there's always one person in that group that's always pulling up to the tee box right as you guys are supposed to be going out.
Ricky.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, absolutely. So,
Ricky he's so bad about this, Ryan, that he really believes at this point, if he shows up early, the guys that run the game put us first
mhm,
just to mess with him. It's
yeah,
like, oh, you're gonna show up, 99% of the time. Like, literally, he'll show up, and I am a lot of times picking him up on the way to the first
yeah.
tee, like from
Yeah,
his
you're
car.
going to the parking lot, getting him, he's putting his shoes on
Yeah,
the way to the first tee.
yeah.
Do you guys ever lie to him and tell him that your tee time's earlier than it
Nah.
really is, or do you pretty much have the same tee time every
He's
time?
rarely ever late. He's just it's almost like an art form. He's gonna get there like
Yeah,
right at the gun, which it gives me anxiety just thinking about it. I'm
yeah,
that person that I'm there an hour before the round, and half the time I'd end up like sitting inside, bullshitting or watching TV or whatever. But I hate pushing things to the last minute. It does.
I
It gives
hear
me
you.
the sweats.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got something you want to suggest? Because I got one more, if not.
One of my, and this is, I don't know, it's just kind of being a golf course operator for such a long time, like, and how hard the cart staff has to work to keep the divot mix bottles or divot mix bucket on the side of the cart filled. Just use it. It's not hard. It takes 2 seconds, but that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves, because it goes such a long way into keeping your golf course conditions good. And like, people always want to talk about conditions, but people out there playing can do a lot of things to help with that. And as someone who's worked in the cart barn a lot too myself, filling those divot mix bottles up, or even just sand bottles up, it's a time consuming task. So if the staff is willing to put in the effort to do that, then the golfers should be willing to put in the effort to fill their divots. And that's one thing too, kind of part parlaying on that is, if you do not have separation anxiety and you're a big boy and you can walk over to your shop while your other person's hitting the shot, take the sand bottle with you too. It's not that heavy. It takes 2 seconds to fill it up, and fill a couple other
It'll
divots
sit
up.
right there on the ground. Can you believe
Yeah,
that?
it's amazing how it stands up. And fill a couple on the way over to and on the way back too, to give you something to do while you're walking over. So use the sand or the divot mix depending on what type of course you're playing.
All right, so this one I'm disappointed it took us the third episode to bring this up. And I'm going to get both sides of it because I don't want people to think that I'm just, I'm going to get down in a hurry. But letting people fucking play through. Like if you are a foursome and a twosome comes up and you have a 2-hole gap in front of you, let the people go through. Like,
Wave
don't just,
through.
You're going to have a better time.
Yeah.
They're going to have a better
the
time.
anxiety of
Everybody's going to, it's
you
going to work
being in
out
their
for
way.
everybody.
Yeah.
I
No
promise
doubt.
you. Having said that, if you're the twosome behind the foursome and there's a foursome on the green and they're on the tee box, they don't have to then wait on you when they had the tee time in front of you. So it's just, again, not understanding, the etiquette of when to not let people play through. But I mean, the big one for me is just like, let people play through. I really think sometimes it's just like people driving in the left-hand lane.
Absolutely.
People want to be stubborn. They want to be assholes, or maybe they just are stubborn assholes. I don't know,
Yeah.
but they just, they won't let, people go around, and it stacks up golf courses, and it's terrible.
Well, and yeah, like you said too, and kind of piggybacking off that a little bit too. If you play as a twosome on a busy day when it's all foursomes, you cannot complain about it being slow. You have half the amount of people than the other groups have. It's going to take you half the amount of time, so you are going to be waiting on every shot. It's the reality.
If you want to complain about that, go join a really fancy private membership place where you're playing probably $500,000 a month, and then you can probably play as a twosome and get around in 3 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. But nobody else plays that golf course, so it works out that way. But find 2 other friends and play in a foursome, because that's one of the things that drives me crazy. And then you explain it to people, and they're like, "Well, that's not a good excuse." It's reality. Anyway, that one drives me crazy too.
It's not a good excuse. It's like, it's not an excuse.
No,
exactly. It's like
you're half the group in front of you and in front of them and in front of them. There's a reason why golf is typically played in foursomes in the recreational standpoint of it. Now, obviously on tour events, it's a little different, but they're also walking and not riding in golf carts. So, but I think to your point with the playing through, I think a lot of golf courses, the operators can do a better job with their starters or whoever it is, kind of explaining that. Because I know, down here at Bay Point, we get a lot of people that just don't play a lot of golf. So they may just be ignorant to the actual etiquette. So that's where I think course staff have to really help, your marshals and your starters and those guys to make sure people understand. Look, if the group's waiting on you behind you and you got a hole open, let them go. It'll make your round more enjoyable. It'll make their round more enjoyable. And when everybody's having more fun, that's what it's all about.
Man, and that's one of the best life lessons that I've gotten as I get older is to assume everybody understands and knows the things that you know. You're gonna get really frustrated a lot. Like, and I'm not even saying like I'm a genius or anything, but I'm just saying like the amount of times that now that I'll ask them, hey, do you know? And there's going to be altercations at times because people are going to take stuff defensively or whatever. But I promise you, if you're always, at least let people understand this is why I'm having my reaction to it. Maybe they'll at least think about it next time, especially on a golf course. Because like my dad does a lot of stuff that annoys the piss out of me on the golf course. And I finally have started like saying stuff to him. And does he still do it? Yes. Does he do it a lot less? And like he's actually thinking about it. I can see him now, like as he's throwing the club in, going,
behavior.
"Oh shit!" Like he threw the club in right in the downswing, but he's got that look on his face, like he knows.
At least he
just fucked me up, or Ricky up. So appreciate that, Chuck. Which one do you want to make the official one? Because I mean, we got plenty more shows to go. But
yeah, absolutely. I think I like the playing through. Let's make that one the official one this week.
I love it. Playing through it is. So we got 3 items. I'll let you know about next week. I'm not gonna lie. Well, let me see how many guys are in this field. Because we got 2 weeks to Augusta. If it's as bad as I think it's gonna be next week, look, guys, we'll see. I'm just being honest with you. Now that doesn't mean if we don't do a preview of the show, we probably will do a 2-week early preview of Augusta, and then maybe talk about the Masters twice over the next 2 weeks, because I mean, who doesn't like talking about the Masters?
Absolutely.
So that'll be fun. Did you see that Patrick Reed qualified for the Open? Did you hear about Sergio?
I didn't hear about Sergio, but I did see something where there was 3 guys and Patrick Reed was standing in the middle of them. But what did Sergio? Did he qualify?
So that 3 spots got automatic from the Live Tour. The top 3 in the Open, right?
Yep.
Sergio missed a 3-footer on 18 that would have automatically qualified, because him and Carlos Ortiz would have tied for 3rd, and he would have gone on a tiebreaker.
Gotcha. Brutal. Well, at least he'll be playing in a couple weeks there at Augusta.
Sergio, by the way, should get a special invite to the Open Championship. They went over his record. I know he's never won the Open. Dude has I think it's 12 top 25s and 19 starts at the Open. Like, if anybody should have earned the right. This is where I get frustrated with the whole Live PGA stuff. But at least it looks like in the article I read that Sergio is going to have several other chances, and not just like the Open qualifying, to actually make the Open Championship. But Ryan, you got anything you want to plug before you get out of here, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, of course, just my radio show on ESPN Northwest Florida called The Inside Drive. Best way for you guys to check it out is on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You just got to search up ESPN Northwest Florida. If you find yourself in Panama City Beach, 104.3 on the dial. Real easy. Check it out. We talk all sorts of stuff, not just golf, every sport. And now Jay is just on Fridays for me, so especially tune in on Fridays. So. He was a couple Fridays ago. I wasn't on last week for spring break, but a couple Fridays ago, it was like the gang was back together, and I missed it. It was a lot of fun. So check us out, The Inside Drive, ESPN Northwest Florida. Appreciate you letting me plug it.
I'm sure there'll be some guitar singing, etc., going on Fridays. Are you big on the Twitch?
I mean, I've never actually been on Twitch myself.
I haven't either. That's why I laugh. It's like one of those things.
It's on there for people
who
want to watch it on there. But I would recommend YouTube is the easiest way to watch it, either live or watch it back after the fact.
No, for sure. I just laugh because, like, I hear people say Twitch all the time, and I'm like,
I just think of video games when I think of Twitch.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
people saw cards on there, which I got a gazillion cards. I'm like, maybe I need to break out on Twitch. Who knew?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's so many platforms.
There's so many, dude. And they just got me to join Blue Sky, so I'm just like, Jesus, man, I'm gonna lose it. But please check out the golf article. It is up now. And actually, they have changed. If you go under golf on Fantasy Six Pack, it has all 3 for each week. So it'll have in one place. You'll see basically 3 pictures. One will be the DFS cheat sheet. One is the betting card cheat sheet. And then one is the actual preview of the tournament. In the preview article, there's only 3 golfers I'm giving now, with like bullet points and reasoning. It's more stats, trends, information about the venue. And then again, you'll get plenty of actually more DFS and betting plays from me through the card. And I, try to not make it a novel, because we know I like to talk and write. But at the same time, back it up as best as I can. I can hear those editors every time I turn and going, Keith, condense. It's like, yeah, you've listened to my brain. Good luck, motherfucker.
Yeah, I got too much to say.
This is fun, and like I said, worst case we'll do a Masters, I don't know what we'll call it, super early look, which is really not super early because it's right around the corner. And then the great Alan is going to join us the week of the Masters. Well, that's if he doesn't, pull the old tea time fiasco and pull out, at 7 p.m. because Tristan's. It's funny how Tristan's always in trouble when Alan's got to do something.
Hey, kids are an easy excuse, man.
They are
out for a lot of things.
I blame my dog, so I couldn't imagine a kid. Like, I'm like, I would love to stay, but Nico's probably peeing all over the house, so I got to go.
Yep.
And if they've met Nico like that, it tracks. Yeah. It's like it tracks. So, absolutely. But Ryan, tell the missus and those kids I said what's up. Tell Ryan congrats on her big win, and tell Liam I hope he's
We got a 7-on-7 tournament this weekend. He's actually playing with his age group, so that'll be the first time he's ever played with his own age group. So I'm looking forward to that for sure.
I just can't wait to see the way he wins over the locker room, because he's a leader of men. You can see it. He's definitely got.
He's got to be. He's got to be. If he's going to be successful, you got to be a leader to be successful.
It's just amazing, man. His kid has got it is just what I call it. Let's just put it this way. I don't think he has a lot of like nervous tics or anxiety like your boy here. I don't think too many of those thoughts ever go through his head.
He doesn't lack confidence. That's for sure. That's for sure.
I envy it. That's for sure. But for Ryan and Keith, hopefully we'll have our graphics and stuff back next week. We apologize about that. I swear that's not me. That's something on StreamYard. At least that's what I'm storing. I'm sticking to it. But for Ryan and Keith, it's been 2 off the tee. We'll see you.
Y'all have a great week. Thanks, Keith. Appreciate it as always.
Absolutely, buddy. Sorry. There we go.